Bienvenidos a Café con Mezcal. Aunque todavía no estemos estrenando una nueva temporada, no pudimos perder la oportunidad de grabar un episodio especial con uno de mis grupos favoritos, Crystal Fighters. México tuvo la suerte de que Crystal Fighters cerrara su gira mundial en el Corona Capital y nosotros tuvimos la fortuna de platicar y tomarnos un mezcal en mi bar favorito, Limantur. Así que sírvete un café y ponle piquete, porque la historia de cómo comenzaron viviendo todos juntos en un mismo departamento hasta tener su música sonando en todo el mundo te va a explotar la cabeza. Bienvenidos una vez más al podcast Café con Mezcal, donde el café pone la plática, pero el mezcal la pone mucho mejor. El día de hoy tenemos a unos invitados muy especiales de nombre Crystal Fighters, una de mis bandas favoritas, si no es que es mi banda favorita. Y las tenemos aquí, en Limantur, en mi bar favorito, en la colonia Roma, en la Ciudad de México. El día de hoy vamos a invadir la barra. Les voy a preparar claramente café con mezcal y ver qué otras cosas me invento por aquí. Pero bueno, sin más, sean bienvenidos. Welcome, my brothers.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Hermano.
¿Cómo estás?
Bien.
Sean bienvenidos a México.
Gracias.
How's everything, guys?
Good, bro. So happy to be in this beautiful city once again.
Brother, when was the last time you guys were here?
2017, was it?
I think
When we last met for the Corona Capital.
Before the pandemic.
Oh,
But how are you guys?
We're good, man. Just blessed to be, Europe has taken a turn for the cold at the moment. So it's great to be back.
So
in
you guys
beautiful-
came to Mexico City to play Corona Capital 2024, which was the last show of the year. Was
Totally,
it?
yeah, yeah.
Your last show of the year.
We've been playing on tour all this year promoting our new album. We did a tour all around Europe. We played a bunch of festivals, and we actually had to reschedule the tour because, well, I'll let you.
Yeah, I got malaria
What the
in Ghana, in Africa. earlier
Is
this
it by
year.
a mosquito bite?
It was a mosquito, yeah, and it was pretty rough. But it came at exactly the time when we were supposed to be rehearsing and everything for the tour. So we found out, okay, we can reschedule it, and so we rescheduled it to
And
the
like many
autumn.
dates.
Yeah,
Yeah.
many dates.
Shit.
But it worked out great.
Yeah, it was so nice. Like most of the people like held onto their ticket, and it almost like it felt more special when we were there. It was like, finally,
Damn.
we're all here.
And how was malaria, brother? I think you're the first person I've ever met that had malaria.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty heavy. It's like very heavy fever. You sweating, all sorts of vomit, and I don't want to go into too many details, but yeah, some excretions of odd color. And
Shit. How many weeks or months or how is
it
it?
was a good month to recover. But yeah, the peak time was, while I was in Ghana, and then when I got back to the UK and got the medication, and all was well. So
But you were going to some far out rural places in Ghana.
yeah, exactly. I mean, speaking of mezcal, I probably got it in this distillery, like they were brewing up this alcoholic drink called apateshi, which they drink before meals. So very strong, like mezcal, almost very clear.
Is it from Maguey as well?
It's from the
same-
palmita,
Yeah,
the palm trees. So they use palm. They make palm wine, and then they distill it into apateshi. So yeah, maybe it was out in those rural places that maybe there was more malaria.
Damn, I've always heard and thought that like when you get hurt or when something health related happens, like you have to listen to what that's saying in life. It just gives you perspective. So it's,
Yeah.
brother, it's
Bro, we're back.
yeah.
I'm pumped,
I mean, if you
so-
canceled so many like gigs, I'm pretty sure it was very, very rough.
Yeah, it was. But grateful for the medicine. Usually I'm a bit more of an alternative medicine guy. But this time I went to the hospital. And
But here you are, brother.
yes, bro.
So, hermanos, ¿qué les sirvo? What do you guys want? Water, cafecito? Start off with cafecito. You guys don't drink coffee that much.
I drink coffee every day, yeah.
You don't so
I
much.
don't buy today. Let's do it, man.
Awesome.
With
Maybe just a
mezcal,
little.
right?
We got very good coffee. We got an amazing barista over there. With mezcal already, even though it's Monday. Have you heard of?
Well, you're having one with us, right?
Yeah, of course. Of
Okay,
course.
great.
Although I'm working, I don't know if I should. No, but have you guys ever heard of Maldición Gitana?
No. Maldición gitana. No.
Let me wait for that coffee. I want to give you guys some water.
Yeah. Right, this is the best barman ever. Feels like New York right now.
Wait until you tip, brother.
Thank you, bro.
I'm so pumped that you guys are going to Oaxaca for the very first time. I don't know why I always thought you guys had been there before.
Yeah.
Okay, so we went pretty far down the timeline, but I would love to know how you guys started. Crystal Fighters, where does the name come from?
Yeah, it comes from, back in 2007 when we began. Our friend Laura showed us some books, basically some journals, some diaries by her grandfather, who's from the Basque country, which is an autonomous region. País Vasco in
País Vasco, is that north part of Spain?
Yeah. It kind of overlaps a bit in France and a bit in Spain, and it's got one of the oldest languages in the world. Euskera is it has no roots in any Indo-European languages, so very interesting culture, and they have a different sort of blood type as well, so it's a very interesting place. And anyway, this man was Basque, and then he handed these books on after he passed to his granddaughter, and then she was a friend of ours and she showed us them, and we were like, wow, like Basque culture, Basque mythology is like a whole world which we didn't know about, so we started researching it and then making music like based on.
And like it's interesting because like Sebastian and I have known each other since school.
Oh shit.
And we were
like elementary school?
Yeah, all of it. And we've been friends since then, and we were both actually in bands at school, but never the same band.
Yeah.
So you guys have been playing music since you were a little kid?
Yeah, since he was playing since young. But
Did it come from family, like parents giving you instruments, or was it
just having like lessons growing up, and then
like school lessons, or you wanted to do it when you were a little kid?
I taught myself the guitar, you taught yourself the guitar.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know, just at the time guitars were like the coolest thing ever. So it was like, I gotta learn how to play that.
Yeah. There was like a little culture, I guess, of our school. It was like, okay, if you had a guitar, everyone was just kind of sit in the corridors. There was no rooms for like band guys. It was all the rooms were like clarinet and flute and all this, but the band guys just kind of in the corridor on the side, just like writing songs and jamming basically.
And then like I went to university. We went to different universities with the plan of like making music, meeting people, maybe starting a band, but where I was at university, there was just no one. There were only people playing like the organ and stuff like that. And I just didn't meet the right people, and so like music kind of like took a back seat. And then after university, we were like reconnecting. Sebastian was like working in at MTV, I think.
What?
Yeah.
What were you doing in
I was
MTV?
like editing videos and stuff, like researcher, I guess you call it, and just kind of helping people, filming bits and bobs and stuff like that, only for like 10 months or something.
And then we would link up, on the weekends or whatever, and I'd help a little bit.
Just to hang out or music?
Yeah, to hang out, but he'd be showing me like the things he's editing, and we'd be cutting some stuff up together, like funny little clips or whatever back then. There was a little document, the New Rave documentary, which was made, which hopefully doesn't exist on the internet. But try find it.
Documentary on what?
On New Rave.
On New Rave.
Do you remember New Rave?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so it's kind of about that. I'd love to see it again.
I don't know where
I think I may have, in a time of crisis, deleted all evidence of that. But
so we were like working on like creative projects together a little bit, and then like I met Graham, who's one of the original members of the band, who doesn't play with us anymore, and we fell in love over this summer, the summer of love 2007.
Where did you guys meet?
In Edinburgh. So I went
Scotland.
up there. I went up to
at a
visit
party,
some friends.
or what was it?
Well, I went up to visit some friends, and they were best friends with him, and so we started meeting. And I'd come back to London. I'd be like, Bast, there's this guy Graham. He's got some good beats or whatever. And then I'd go to Graham. I'd be like, yo, this guy Bast, who you never met, he's got some good beats too. And I was like, wait a second, maybe we could just like start a band. And Graham was meant to fly back to America, where he's from. And somehow, after just 3 months of knowing him, I convinced him to move to London, to move in with a guy he'd never met before, and start some sort of musical project. And so it was all a bit of a wild time. and finally got them together in a pub in London at the Sun in Splendour in Notting Hill.
What'd you guys get for drink?
Pints,
Probably
pints, yeah.
And when you say pints, it's just any beer.
It's like a pint is like a measure of a unit of measure in English. It's like 500 milliliters.
But if you ask for a pint, which beer do they give you?
Oh, whichever beer you want.
And which one did you get?
Maybe Guinness or
Kind of
like
lager.
yeah, probably at the time it was like just Stella or something like that.
Okay, so you guys have your pints.
Oh
All
yeah, no,
three
we
of you?
finally got together, and they'd both been telling me like, yeah, we're gonna do this, and then Sebastian was in like a weird situation with the place he was living, and he was like, guys, I can't do it. So after all these months of anticipation, I finally got it. It was like, it's not gonna happen, and I was like, oh no.
Brother, you're so good at telling stories. Please go, keep going.
This is my perspective, and I was like, oh no. But so me and Graham went and got a place together in Brick Lane when it was like a mad place, and just right on Brick Lane, and Sebastian started coming over more. Next thing he's sleeping on the sofa. Next thing he's making the sofa home.
Yeah.
And then we just had to move into a bigger place.
Yeah, the
That's
band had already started. It started in Brick Lane, and yeah, we actually had many other projects at the time. We were like, Crystal Fighters was one genre we were making, but we were making many different. It was in the times of MySpace, you're like, oh yeah, I've got a few ideas. Let's just make a new MySpace for this band, and we'd make a kind of whole band, but never actually play. We just.
So you were experimenting also.
Yeah,
Exactly. And it was only when Laura brought these
yeah.
books to us that we kind of, because one was electro pop, one was like a bit metal, like synth metal, one was an acoustic thing, one was a more poppy thing, and like it was only till we, like, Laura brought this stuff to us, did we find something that we were all like, oh yeah, this is fresh, this is interesting for us, this is new.
But she was bringing books?
Yeah.
How do you make music from books?
Well, just the idea, it's like it sparked the imagination. You know what I mean? So we were like, okay, the Basque country, like we'd heard of it, and like we were like, but what's the music like? And obviously in the book there's no music, so we had to go online and find, okay, they have this instrument, the chalaparta, which you see when we play live, we have these beams of wood, so we then listening to all that and being like, wow, and then we're like sampling chalaparta music, and then there's chistu, which is like a flute thing, so we're like looking and being like, oh, these melodies and things like that from the Basque region, it has a certain flavor, and it just really worked with kind of it had a kind of glue to what we were doing, because we had all this electronic style, but we needed something like folkloric or something mystical in there. So
it just kind of excited us, and we were like, oh, okay, that's the one. And we were playing concerts like for each of these bands in London, like small little concerts, 20 people, 25 people or whatever. And then we did a gig with Crystal Fighters, and the promoter was like, can you do that one again? And then we had a song, we put the song online on MySpace, and like people were like talking about it. So we were just like, okay, let's keep.
Which song was it?
I Love London.
That was the first song.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so that was also, we were just like, okay, we started moving in that direction, and then since then it's been a long journey.
And how did it, what was the creative process behind I Love London? Like just messing around, like trying this, trying that, and then we got a song.
Yeah, I guess we had the Basque concept, and we were like, okay, and we were like, if we were in the Basque, what would we like make? We were like, okay, it would be fast, cause it would be hard, kind of almost punky electronic music. So we were talking about that, and then Gilbert was like, okay, cool, I'll go make a beat like in that style. And so he made the beat basically of I Love London. And then so we had that, and then we got Mimi over, and then we were just
Hola,
mi amo
Mimi.
Mimi. And she was the only one at the time who spoke any Spanish, so we were like, okay, say a few phrases, and we just kind of recorded like whatever was coming up, so. And then
There's a lot of other lyrics that didn't make it.
Yeah, a lot of other lyrics, and then we just he chopped it up, put it in the right place, and that's kind of the extended version was there, and then we made another version for the Kitsune single when that came out. And,
You guys played it live. Do you remember where? The first time?
Oh yeah, so we used to basically, when we started, we would just play gigs in London. I think in 2009 we played 94 concerts only in London. So
That's a lot, brother.
And it was at the
Only
time.
2 years in.
Yeah, and at the time there were all these like indie nights, they would call them. White Heat, Adventures Close to Home, what was the one at Madame Jojo's or whatever. And all these venues now don't exist. They've all been,
None of them.
A lot of them
Barely,
don't,
yeah.
And it used to be these like, there's a scene in London at the time of like bands and like Thursday night, Wednesday night, like indie nights. You'd go, there'd be 3 bands playing and it was like a real vibe. And so we were just like trying to play everywhere and it just kept getting like bigger and bigger. And we'd just go and like, it would just be 3 of us at the time. We'd take our shirts off. We had like a light. We had like a light in the middle that had like it looked like a crystal. We put like chicken wire with the thing.
Chicken wire?
Chicken like, you know, like wire, like a fence.
Oh yeah.
And then put like some paper over top. We had lights underneath. We like press the button and the lights. And we just like go
kind
for
of
it.
ravey.
Yeah, super punk ravey vibes.
So that's how it started. Cafecitos, listo. Coffee's here.
Am I too much detail?
No.
Gracias.
When was the first time you guys ever had a coffee at a bar?
Ooh.
Well,
Well,
for
you know
never.
what? Yeah. No, when we were at school, there was always this one coffee place where we'd go and like meet our friends after school, that type of thing. So it's probably around then.
Guys, you guys are at my
Is this
favorite. This is
sin
not yet.
mezcal?
This is just cafecito.
Okay,
This is Café
so-
Blasón from Oaxaca. Pluma Hidalgo?
Yes.
From Pluma Hidalgo. So
Okay.
you guys are in my favorite bar with drinking my favorite coffee, and you guys are gonna try my favorite mezcal.
Oh,
So this is
Full tour.
salud.
yeah, full circle. So 2 years in, one song, maybe just a few songs.
Yeah, we had like 2, that and Ecstatic Truth. Those are like
Oh
our
shit!
2.
This
That was like
right
the
at the
second
beginning
one.
of the band. This is a couple months in, really. Like we just just to kind of once we had that one, we were like, okay, we need more fast bangers. So yeah, just made-
Ecstatic
made
Truth.
more.
And we had lots of demos going around. We'd like change the MySpace, we'd put different ones up, and it'd be like, oh man, at first it was like, we got 20 plays. And then it's like, yo, we got 50 plays today. And like, oh my God, we got 100. They went up to like 300 plays. It was like crazy over like the course of a month.
Have you guys ever dig back into those files, seeing if you still
Oh,
have like,
yeah.
good stuff?
Yeah, there's this one computer that's at my house that's a little bit broken, and I'm like, I know there's some fun stuff on there.
It'd be nice
of
to go back there, brother.
I need
Dig
to
into
figure out how to get the files off there. But
So you guys are living in London, playing gigs mostly in London. When did you guys? I mean, it was pretty fun at the beginning, I can
Yeah, it
imagine.
was wild.
But when did you guys? When could you tell, like, oh shit, this is happening? Like, we gotta take this seriously, you know?
yeah, I
mean,
guess
pretty early on.
Yeah, I mean, at that time, 2007, 2008 was like that big recession. We all got kind of fired from like the MTV thing stopped and all this, so we were kind of just living like broke in London. And by that time we'd moved to a warehouse kind of in the East End of London, Hackney Wick, which is like kind of empty warehouse. We had to build our own rooms and studios, and we kind of built a studio there. So we were kind of writing new stuff and trying to make a place to live and trying to survive basically off playing off small gigs. So
Yeah.
even if it was like £50 for a gig or
We've
something,
got to
like
make money off
we
it.
had to like, okay.
So when you say like trying to survive, like you gotta pay rent, you gotta eat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's way too far back, but can you remember like what that felt like? Was that exciting or was that scary? Like that beginning when you are in the process of becoming an artist.
It's exciting, man. I think like we were excited. We were a lot younger than we are now, and we were, excited to know each other, be friends, and that was the main reason for forming the band, was kind of like
Friendship?
just to have fun with our friends. And we'd like go to play the gig, but then we'd be out for hours afterwards, like friends, beating people. It's like, when you're in your mid-20s, you're just kind of excited by like the nightlife and that sort of thing.
And was there a moment where you were like, this just exploded?
I know, it always felt like it was working. Like even when we were playing these tiny gigs to 50 people, we had like super fans. There was like one guy that used to just come, just stand at the front, like right in front of us, and just come to every gig and just like,
I wonder whatever happened to him.
yeah,
Does he
I think
still
about
show
him
up?
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that guy.
So, but the guy was always like completely pale, just stood at the front, like bathed in the strobe.
Mi estimado barista. ¿Le podrías decir a Chiva 3 americanos, por favor? Gracias. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so when was it that you felt like it exploded?
I think
was
it's
it a
weird, like
festival
our
or
friend
something?
Laura, even like her dad was in the music industry, and we were just kind of confused at the time. You're just like, what are we doing? Making songs on the laptop. Does this mean anything? And he's like, the guy said to us, he's like, it's like, imagine a house where there's a kitchen on the top floor and there's a leak in the tap, you know, so, and the tap is dripping and it's spilling over the sink and onto the floor, and there's just, so each little thing you do as a band, like, or as an artist, each little progress you make, oh, we got this one little article here, or someone mentioned us on a tweet or something, that counts as like one water drop on the floor. So eventually the water keeps dropping, and then the floor is kind of covered in water, and then at some point the floor on the kitchen is cut, and then the floor collapses, and then it's all over the people in the living room downstairs, and they're like, what happened? Like suddenly.
That's an amazing
analogy.
analogy.
It's kind of an interesting metaphor. I don't know if it still works in 2024, but yeah, it kind of helped us at the time because everything seemed so scattered, you know. It was like, but he was like, no, each little achievement you make it matters. It's important.
It was just that there were so many moments along the way where it's just like, and it keeps happening now, where you're like, oh, we're making it. You know what I'm saying?
What?
Like the first time we played at Fabric nightclub.
Yeah.
Or when we played at the club, the other club that they own, Matter. It's like brand new, like the biggest, coolest club, and like playing abroad for the first time, playing in France.
Yeah.
For that Kitsune show in 2009 or whatever, that was like a big thing. And then playing for the first time in Poland, you know, in like 2011, we were backstage, the lights went down, and the whole place erupted into cheers, and we were like, oh my God, we're in the dark, backstage, you know, behind the stage, ready to go on. And being like, wow, this is like, we're in Poland.
So I guess sometimes it's like drops. Sometimes it's like a big chunk of
water.
Sometimes
if you
like
get lucky, the tap stays on, you know, but sometimes it's still just drop. But yeah, like even Kitsune, like we only had 2 songs or a few songs, and our management played it to Gildas from Kitsune Records, and that was like our favorite label at the time. And we were like, what's that guy? Our favorite label wants to release our stuff, you know, that type of confusion. It's like, you actually want to release it. It's like, we love you. Like, so it was an honor, and it was, you know, those type of things are like, that gives you like faith in the work you're doing. Yeah.
So if it started 2007, what year do you think it was when you started touring, wherever it was?
Immediately.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the whole point. We would make songs in the week just to play them on the weekend. And we'd have like crazy rotating set lists and really bad songs as well. But it was like wild. And there was this band at the time called Selfish, CUNT. I won't say the word, but it was like this, almost like this performance art type performance. You go and watch them in a small venue, and it's giving it their all, and they're like lost in their own theatrical world. And you're watching it like watching something in a fishbowl, you know, and you're like, and they're throwing the amps around, and it's like, it was such a big inspiration to us, and that was the whole thing. It's like we wanted to go out every weekend and play to people and like mess them up, you know what I mean, and like shock them.
This is a personal question for each one of you, but what is it that you like the most of those first shows?
Yeah, I think probably for me, like, the energy and the scene at the time, really, like, we wouldn't have been what we were or what we are now if it wasn't for that kind of mix of music that was happening at the time. You remember Justice and all these, it kind of was electro but had this rock kind of aesthetic, and like there was an energy in the crowds, you know, and so just trying to match that energy and bring, you know, our own story, of which I came more from like punk rock, ska punk type of background, bringing that into the electronic side, and just experimentation, really. Like, that was the exciting.
What about you, brother?
And like, definitely just it all being new. You know, if you said to me then, let's go play a gig to 50 people in this trashy club in the red light district in London, if you said it to me now, I'd be like, I'm good. But back then, that was the craziest thing. I didn't know what the thing that you plug the cable into, so many mistakes were made. But you know, when like stuff's new to you, I always say, like, you know, you go on holiday somewhere and you see the street that you're staying, you open the cat, you're there and you look at it in a certain way, but on the last day when you leave, you look at that same street and it's a completely different, because when it's new, it just feels fresh, and there's something different the way it hits your brain. And so everything was like new and exciting and, you know, different and accelerating, and that's what is the fun. That was the fun part for me.
Damn. And when did it become like a worldwide tour?
worldwide tour. Yeah, I guess just going to the US for the first time, coming to Mexico for the first time. You know, that was like
2013.
yeah,
The first time was 2013.
I think in Mexico. I think.
yeah,
I don't think it was only.
Everything blew up very fast, right?
yeah.
It was like between 2010 and because we did our second album in 2013 in LA,
Yeah,
which was great.
When did you guys release the first album?
2010.
Star of Love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2010.
Yeah, and Star of Love was actually also the name. Oh, no, we shouldn't put that.
Yeah, it was a band. It was that was the name of a band. You know, we were talking about the early days. We had all these different bands. One was called Star of Love. So, but then that stopped. So we were like, well, we like that name. Let's put that as the album of Crystal Fires. So everything kind of reference points.
Yeah, circular
reference points.
Dude, I would love to hear some of that, of something you don't want to talk about.
Yeah, but it was acoustic pretty
Okay,
much.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know, it's like different energy.
Brother, please tell me, like, what's up with love? Love a light, Star of Love. Love is all I
Well,
got.
love is the universal frequency, right? Like that's what we can. You know, I love that those experiments they do on plants. You know, like in a museum once, the famous experiment. They have one plant on this side, the same plant, and then another one this side, and there's instructions to all the visitors like, please yell obscenities and hatred at this plant, and please give this plant all the love and attention. Same conditions. This plant thrives. And this plant dies. Literally, they're in the same room. Yeah, so that's just proof in my mind. Like the love, you know, loving words, loving energy, loving vibration creates, you know, growth, expansion, and hatred and war energy is, you know, it's gonna kill things. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we're big believers in that frequency, that vibration. Yeah.
So if at first you guys started loving, like going to Spain, going to Poland, going to so many countries in Europe, was it ever a moment at the beginning that it felt overwhelming? Because I can imagine like back then, it was like touring, playing, and partying,
Yeah.
having fun, going out, like wanting to eat the world.
Yeah. Well, what I think is interesting about like this day and age, like, is
face.
Yes.
we gotta zoom in your face in that one.
no, I mean, like today, 2024, like I feel like we have so much more of a vocabulary to talk about these type of things. Like, how was I feeling? You know, mental health, all this like is, you know, much more
Awareness.
Awareness is much more here for the young people and everyone today with the internet and everything. Like back then, it was a little bit
Just
more
go to it.
Yeah, you had to kind of accept, you know, and there was a sort of harshness and coldness. Particularly English culture is quite closed up, you know, so like being able to express your feelings, and actually music, it was for us like a big outlet for that, you know, to being an English person, you know, it's quite hard sometimes to express your feelings and express your pain, express your thing. So music, you know, for me personally, and for all of us, I would say, like, lyrics and feeling those emotions, like, yeah, it's a good way to.
That's so interesting. So it's not a common thing. Maybe nowadays it's changed, but back then, like talking about love in London, it's not a very common thing. It's like you're more private about that. And now you're making these songs talking about love. How did people from the UK like respond to that? Like,
Yeah, I think
Everyone loves a love song. No?
true, very true.
It's true.
I've seen people talk about their albums and go, so yeah, I just wrote a bunch of love songs in the end.
And it worked.
Yeah.
You know, it's so nice to be here with you guys, because I've told this story maybe like more than 30 or 40 times, like my story with you guys. But I don't think you guys know my story with you guys.
I want to hear it, man.
So I didn't know what to do with my life when I finished college, so I moved to Brazil. I started I don't want to make this about me. This part of
whereabouts?
it. Like,
Where in Brazil?
you need to know about this.
Yeah.
So I'm in Brazil. I partner up with a guy. We put together a studio thing, and like we're working so much. You know, we're in Curitiba, south of São Paulo.
Okay.
I'm learning Portuguese.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with my life. So I have so much work, and one day I get a message from Ryan Rafferty, and he's like, "Oh, I need a lot of work. I need this. I need that." And I start replying to that email like, brother, I have so much work, like I cannot do this right now. And I was like, how am I saying no to something that I don't even know? Like, what's up, no? And I was like, yeah, what's up? What do you need? So I have this band, Crystal Fighters, and they're coming, they have a, like, Mexico and South America, and I need art, and I need this for magazines. And I was like, wow. Like, a year ago, I had first played Cave Rave, was it?
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to connect the years. If maybe Cave Rave had just come out, and I was like, this is my favorite band.
Hey.
So my dream was to work with you guys. And one day I'm in Brazil, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, and I get an email from a guy in Mexico telling me to make art for Crystal Fighters. I'm like, the dream has come true.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So time goes by, I spent 1 year in South America between Brazil, Chile, Argentina, and I realized that my business partner is keeping my money away from me. Like he's keeping my money. And I'm like, I'm in the middle of nowhere. I don't know anyone. I'm trusting this guy, he's keeping my money away. And Ryan comes back to me. He's like, I need to make a acoustic for Crystal Fighters. I need a photographer. I'm like, I didn't know what to do with my life again. I came back to Mexico. So that time when we met, 2017, you guys played at the Jose Cuervo.
Yeah.
That was just one chance for me in the dark. I was in South America. I didn't know what to do with my life. I was like, I'll go do that. That's how I started working with Memo, which is, it's just like a full circle, brother. So in a way, you guys brought me back to my country.
Oh, amazing.
And here we are.
Oh,
I mean,
amazing.
very long story short, but
Hey.
Love it.
this
I
is
love
like,
that, bro.
this
Yeah.
is very special. That's why, like, whenever you guys type, whatever you guys need, I'm there, you know?
Ah, my
Because
G.
you don't know when you
Hey.
follow those dream roads, how far they can lead you to.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, tell me about your experience in Mexico. The first time you guys were
I love
here
that, bro. Just while I remember that, I'm remembering that beautiful photo you did.
in downtown Mexico City.
Yeah, and you added some crazy effects around, and you gave me a little fringe. Do you remember? And now I have that fringe, like for real. So maybe.
Full circle.
Yeah, that was
You
inspired by
have
that.
good memory, brother.
Hey.
Very good memory.
Yeah, that
I
came
remember
back,
that photo, yeah.
and I was wearing that tie-dye Jesus shirt.
Uh-huh.
I knew maybe we can put that in the interview.
Yeah,
somewhere.
of course,
Hey,
of course,
I
of
love
course.
that photo.
I think even Andrea was in that photo
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
On the street, like very neon kind of. And you know, it's funny because whenever I work with you guys, I go like high saturation, high contrast, anything I ever do. So I always go like crystals and reflections. And
Yeah.
So how was the first time you guys came into Mexico? What was the experience to be in?
It was great. We couldn't believe, like, the reaction really, and like the fact that there were people who knew us, and it's unreal. Like,
That was
and the crowd is
2013,
like,
right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe 11 or 13. Not 11, that's too soon. Maybe 13 or 14. 13 or 14. We played a couple of headline shows.
Yeah,
I also did a DJ tour in Mexico.
yeah.
Around some random, that friend of ours from Guadalajara just like booked this DJ tour for me, so that was quite fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, when we came here, we played. I can't remember the name of the place. It was in town
With a P, maybe.
The one I mentioned, 2014 for sure, and it's Jose Cuervo. I forget, it doesn't exist anymore. That place.
Yeah, I remember. It was just all again. It's just like all so new and amazing. You like step off the plane, like we're in this tiny little van, getting in like these new places. Right, there's cops everywhere. It's
So whenever I'm traveling so much, I get this feeling like I almost feel out of my body, like everything's passing by and you cannot grasp the things because everything's going by. Did it ever feel like that on touring so much?
For sure, man. Like, and remembering that, often it's like I'll remember what's outside the venue, or you'll remember the stage, but I don't know. Because each of these concert halls, they look similar, right? You're like, did we play here, or is it somewhere similar, or like you meet people like, have we met before? Yeah, probably, maybe not, but yeah, it's like it's a bit of that goes on for sure.
And when you guys came to Mexico, was it crazy to like Spanish? I mean, you guys were huge already in Spain, but like, isn't it crazy when people who don't speak English know all their songs and
it's
connect so
amazing.
much to your songs?
Yeah.
That's wild.
I love that. And many people have told me from different places, like, you guys helped me learn English. Like, from, listening to your lyrics, like trying to work out what you're doing. Because we get quite wordy, a lot of wordplay and like kind of, not slang, but like funny ways of speaking English, and people are like, yeah, that follow like all those lyrics. I was just there, you know. So,
but in terms of things like flying by you, if you think like concerts, is which what we do, performances, they have this moment in time, and like all this effort goes into it, but that moment in time is over now, and it was over so soon after as well. It's like we're stuck in it. When you're playing concerts, you're constantly, I don't know how to say it, but there's this like climactic moment that there's people gathering from all over, they're yourself gathering, or we've all decided that at this time we're all gonna sort of climax together, you know, and then the moment's over and it's never repeated and it only happens then.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just everything does rush past, 'cause it's all based around this moment, and even that's all you're left with is like the memory of that.
And it's never going to be repeated, those exact people from the crowd and the exact band and
even if you played the same venue, it would be a totally different experience, you know what I mean? And it's like, so you kind of like savor those perishable moments in a way, and that's kind of like, that's what I love about like events and music events, and like, you know, that sold out feel of everyone coming together. And I think that's why people like music, because it's like, come together, sing along together, makes you feel part of something. And so we kind of like give that to other people, and through that we kind of lose some moments, and some things do pass us by and we don't have time for other things. But
so it could be almost like you don't remember what it looked like, but you remember what it felt like.
Exactly, totally. And like hopefully it was like great for everybody else, hopefully it felt great for everybody, you know. And I think it's a nice sacrifice to make.
Can you notice that, like if people, of course you can.
I mean, we've had people like get married at shows, engaged, people who like write to us years later, I met my girlfriend, or that was our first date.
Tattoos of all the
I
lyrics.
I left Brazil because of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Damn. And how do you, I mean, and you know, I talked a lot about this with Hermanos Gutierrez, because they rose so fast, you know, and like, at first maybe like, oh, you changed my life, and it's what, like you're engaging, you're getting a tattoo, does it ever feel like numb? Or how can you, let me rephrase that, how can you always have this sensitivity to always appreciate what people tell you? Because I can imagine it's so much, man.
Because it's gradual for us. It hasn't been like one day we just got really big and how do you handle that fame or whatever. It's literally been this very slow, gradual process. And so everything is just naturally following.
Yeah. I mean, the line of girls outside your hotel was quite overwhelming when we arrived.
What are you talking about?
What was that line?
Joking.
Oh yeah, you forget it when you have to, right?
Yeah.
Bienvenidos al Intermedio. Este es un paréntesis para todos aquellos que nos hacen una gran pregunta. Pregunta número 1 que siempre nos hacen en Café con Mezcal. ¿Cuál es, Mevin? No sabe. Primera pregunta es ¿cuándo regresa el podcast? Pero esa no es la pregunta que vamos a contestar el día de hoy. La segunda pregunta que más nos preguntan en Café con Mezcal es ¿cómo nos recomiendas hacer un café con mezcal? Y es muy sencillo. Ahí les va. Café, mezcal. El día de hoy tenemos Lost Explorer Mezcal, un mezcal que me fascina, espadín, tobalá y salmiana. Si tú tienes mucho café y le quieres meter un poquito de sabor nada más, mete el espadín, no tiene tanto alcohol, es suavecito el sabor, rico. Si le quieres meter un poquito más de punch, métele un tobalá para que quede un poco más como herbal. Y si quieres que quede muy chido, el salmiana. Yo le pondría mucho más espadín, mucho menos tobalá y muy poquito salmiana. Pero el día de hoy les voy a enseñar cómo hacer un gran cóctel. Dejen saco mis notas. Primero necesitamos un vasito de highball. ¿Cuál es el highball? Eso fue muy arriesgado de mi parte. Este cóctel se llama vicuña. Este no es vicuña. Y es uno de los cócteles emblema de Limantur.
Del 1 al 10.
10. Sólido 8.
¿Sí? A ver, grábame.
A ver, viejo. Está fresco, ¿no?
Y después de esta bebida, continuamos con nuestra programación habitual. Okay, we come to the next phase, my good brothers. I mean, this is called Café con Mezcal. If it was called, I don't know, tea and salad. So, I want to tell you, this is Lost Explorer, one of our sponsors for this episode. They're helping put everything together. They have 3 kinds. What is your experience with mezcal?
I like the less smoky one.
I like the smoky. He likes.
You like smoky? You don't like smoky?
Yeah, I'm more on the sort of the less roasted flavor, the more blanco vibe.
So almost like tequila-ish.
Closer to, rather than the deep whiskey type of flavors.
Okay. So, Espadín, it's the one that's got the least amount of alcohol. It's the one they use for cocktails. Maybe if you guys are feeling good in a little bit, I'll prepare a cocktail. If not, it's fine. Tobalá, I think would be good for you. Like less smoky, but Salmiana, this is my favorite. This is very smoky, and it comes from, I'm pretty sure you've seen this huge, they have it a lot in Spain, this huge maguey, which is so big. It's a monstrous plant.
Oh, okay.
You know
It's
where?
a type of agave.
Yeah, it's a type of agave, but it's so big. Like you can only find it on the mountains.
Oh.
So Salmiana, it's like 150 kilos every pine. And bring it down, and I don't know how many liters they make from one pint, but it's not a lot. So let's do it.
And mezcal is made like in a big.
Brother, I'm so excited that you guys are going to Oaxaca because I want to send it to my friends and to see how they make it.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, Tobalá has been 10 years growing, and Salmiana 12 years. So you're pretty much drinking time. You know, it's like just like any other. How do you call it? Spirit. So the thing about mezcal, you don't have to put that much. It's only like a
flavor.
Like a small flavor. It wasn't a lot? Really?
No,
I think I'm becoming alcoholic or something.
So it's heavy hands. The rings are. And that's the smoky one. You got lucky there. Yeah, give us a more. You need to touch.
I need to like balance out the coffee already.
Lovely.
Quite high off the.
So the thing about Café con Mezcal, as I was telling you, it's very famous on like towns in Oaxaca to drink that because it doesn't get you drunk, but it spikes you up. You know, like it's the energy of the coffee as well with the mezcal. Let me see.
Amazing. And do all your guests drink it?
All guests.
Thank you, brother.
Salmiana, Tobalá for you.
Yeah.
Like smell it, just. It smells spicy.
Oh, it's extra. Yeah, something.
Lovely. I mean, you could drink that every morning. Oh, it's heavy hands. It
That was an accident, though. A happy accident.
With the Oaxacan coffee as well.
That's good, man.
Yes, Oaxaca coffee, Oaxaca mezcal, Oaxaca. Oaxaca,
You know,
gotta
there's the
love it so
Irish
much.
coffee, of course. We need it,
Which is
whiskey and coffee.
maybe we should rebrand the Café con Mezcal as Mexican coffee.
oh my god, this tastes like Oaxaca. I swear.
Maybe we should rebrand it as Mexican coffee
Maybe.
because they've got Irish coffee. They don't. That's not a.
Put it in a
Whiskey.
can.
Yeah. no.
Sell it down.
How did you like it?
I love it.
like
Good.
it. Yeah,
Really
it's
good.
It's weird because in a way, and we always talk about this, it makes it not sweet, but it gives some less bitterness to the coffee.
Yeah.
So it's nice. And in a
really
way,
nice.
you're getting drunk without you noticing it, you know?
Totally, yeah. I wonder if you could get away with this at an office job. Fill your cup with it. Probably, I think you could. Can I smell your smoky one? Yeah.
You want to try it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Do you mind?
Yeah, mine's got way too much.
Interestingly, the smoky one probably works better. Try that.
Yeah. I think so too.
Yeah, because it balances out the coffee better. This is feels like 3 flavors, and that feels like 1.
Well, yeah, Tobalá, it's very herbal, you know?
Yeah, that just works perfectly. The real mezcal, the smoky stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
That's good. It's lovely though. Delicious, man.
So down on memory lane, like you said.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want? Guinness? So this is very interesting. I want to know which is your favorite and your favorite song that you've written. I know you guys have made many, and favorite might be like a small word, but maybe the one you can, maybe one that you wrote out of a breakup or something very special about them.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, I just love the latest stuff. I just think our latest song is the one.
Numbers is your favorite?
Yeah,
Numbers,
that's probably
okay.
my favorite. I mean, but if I had to pick an earlier one, I'll go for a deep album cut, Everywhere.
Ooh.
Everywhere. It's a song called Everywhere. It's the last song on Cave Rave. And
I cannot remember.
I don't know, it just hits a little emotional tone for me
Why?
Yeah. I think that one, I remember the recording because we're kind of getting to the end of Cave Rave recording in LA, and it was a long process, and by the time it got to that song kind of almost got forgotten, and but we really loved it as a band, so we were kind of staying in late in the studio and making that one happen, you know, and it kind of just got on the album, but it has a sort of sense of sadness, but also that energy of finishing an album and kind of, you know, putting a bow on it and sending it off into the world. There's a kind of sad, you know, letting go of that
The
project.
feeling is everything. The feeling is everywhere.
Yeah,
I love
so,
it.
yeah.
That's what it says?
That's one of the
Feelings, everything?
The feeling is everything. The feeling is everywhere.
So it's the last song of the album, but it's also the last song you guys composed in LA.
Yeah, well, recorded and
Yeah, it was composed before, but yeah, it was one of those. It's oh, is it gonna? Sometimes, often on album, okay, we've got 12 tracks, but then you end up releasing 10 because the 2
Yeah.
weren't ready or they weren't right for the vibe. But, so this was the last one, and
So why
Yeah.
do you think it's so special for you? So
I don't know, it just hits an emotional tone. I don't know, it's like a universal feeling. It's the song's about not being afraid of anything because you know that it's the universal connection that you have, and it's so it gives that feeling, and it's kind of emotional. It's rising. It just hits me every time.
yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to explain with music sometimes.
what about you, brother? You cannot choose the same
Definitely,
song.
no,
I'm sorry.
no. Well, I might
You never would have
I'll
picked
go
that.
all the way. Well, I wouldn't. Yeah, haven't thought about.
I know
that
what he's
since
going to
we've
say. I
been-
think I'm with you.
No,
no,
but
yeah.
good choice. Champion Sound is on the first record. I don't know, it's just something about that. Often the songs, I can't really remember how they actually came together and when they...
It's like bits and pieces?
Well, no, more just I feel like music creation isn't I wrote this song or you wrote that song. It's it kind of manifests, you know? It's kind of, you channel it, you know? And people talk about this a lot these days, and I didn't write this song, I channeled it, but I do more and more. I sort of believe you're in the right state of mind to receive what you need to say, you know.
Yeah,
And,
I mean, it's everything exists, has existed, and will exist, and that includes music. So you're just picking out of the library and it's your job just to channel it. All the notes exist, all the melodies, all the combinations, but deeper, you know, existence. It all has existed, is existing, and will exist. So it's the everything nature of it. It's probably why I love Everywhere.
yeah, definitely. And I guess these days, you know, we write songs, and it's tempting as you have more experience and stuff to doubt what you're doing in a session. You know, you're writing, we're together, we're writing, we've been, I don't know about that or this or that, but what I've learned and what I've read is don't question what's happening in the moment, you know, because that's when the magic is kind of flowing through, and your thinking mind might not think that it's good right now, but you might listen to it in a day's time or 2 days time and be wow, how did that come
And
about?
sometimes what happens is we're writing music, and sometimes I could be sitting there going I don't think this is going, it's not very good, and then once the vibe in the room gets right, so all of a sudden you've been working 7 hours on this awful track, and then someone
One
says,
song, 7 hours.
yeah, or
and
no,
you like
less,
it.
less, like 5 hours or something, trying to come up, and then at the end someone says something really funny or makes something cool, and you're like, scrap that and do that, and it's amazing. It's like, there's that thing.
So for you, Champion sounds something.
Yeah, I don't know, like, yeah, it's sort of, I guess, speaks to a certain time in my life. I remember, like, I had a girlfriend in particular at the time, and, you know, she was Spanish from Murcia, and we kind of, like, I didn't speak really a word of Spanish, and she didn't really speak a word of English, and there was this kind of caring and understanding for each other, and like trying to help each other understand what was going on, you know. That yeah, it just kind of has a resonant moment for me, and I think the production's nice, and it's kind of a.
So you went like this when you said that someone sends the music.
Yeah.
Or you gather it, you get it from the universe.
Yeah.
So what do you think that is? Like, what is it around us that's giving that music?
I know, it's just it's everything. Everything, everywhere, all the time. And understanding, you know, we live in 3 dimensions, but there's 10 dimensions that exist, you know. And it's like, it's hard to, the problem is even if you knew how it worked, if someone even told us how it works, we wouldn't understand it. And I don't know, it's just, you're like an antenna, and you're just gathering, and it's crazy. You might play a guitar and start freestyle singing, and then these things are coming out, and you're not even really saying it, because your hands are busy, your mind is busy, but
It's not you, it's something else.
yeah, it's something else.
The
and
muse.
And it's being able to like tap into that. And some people talk about manifesting, and some people about, you know, frequencies, and it's all describing the same thing. It's all going with the flow, but it's that sort of flow state that you can achieve with music, and your hands are moving, but you're not really moving your hands, you know, and your words are coming out your mouth, and it's a really wild feeling. And there's some songwriters who like refuse to listen to music. Some famous ones, because they see themselves as an antenna. They don't want distractions. They don't want other people's, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like being able to clear your mind, but then again, you know, you can make songs in any way. You know, that's just one way of doing it. You know.
I guess it all like kind of comes back to like what is humanity's purpose? Like, why do we think? Like, why do we philosophize? Why do we have memories in the same way we do? And like, actually Gilbert had, you know, I'm often looking for like, spiritual answers, you know, what is the answer to this? And he said this one time, and it really stuck with me. It's like, you know, trying to explain what like God is, or what spirituality is to a human being, or is kind of like trying to explain to an ant. You know, you see an ant, and you're up here, you're going, hey man, do you like drum and bass music? Like, do you like hip hop?
It's not a difficult concept, drum and bass.
Yeah, like we understand, but they can't hear the language, nor the concept, nor you know. So, explaining what higher consciousness is to a human being, it's like they could be screaming it to us right now, but we cannot.
You don't have the capacity to do it. So it's kind of like, but if that's the case, then should you spend your time searching down a pathway to explain the thing that will never be explainable? Or do you just try and harness in the moment, and that's how you kind of get into that energy of bringing music towards you and through you, you know?
And you just trust that there is something higher going on. Like in the same way that the ant, you know, if you could take the ant and say, look, trust me, there is drum and bass, and it is sick. and you'd be like, but you're never going to know until maybe after, you know, but trust me. And they'd be like, okay. Like, I'll believe that there is this 174 BPM, you know what I mean? Yeah, kind of. And they might be, you know, they might have more kind of relaxed approach to...
So, do you guys experiment, I don't know, like meditation, or like, how can you listen more to the universe?
Yeah, that's it. Meditation, yoga, you know, or even washing up, or whatever it is. These can all be ways of, you know, calming the many voices inside the monkey mind that wants us to go, you know, think about this, worry and all this, you know.
For me, it's quite simple, but it's hard to do. You have to surrender yourself to everything being out of your control, on the belief that something's got your back, and only then can you really be free. And you need to be aware of the worst case scenario and the best case scenario, and you need to be happy with both, because otherwise bad things happen. Yeah, plus good things happen. I don't know what to do. And so if your mind can be equipped to deal with all scenarios, and you know that you've got no control of it anyway, then it's like, let's go. I know it's going to be good. I know it's going to be bad, but there's nothing I can do. So let's do it, you know? And I feel like different cultures around the world, like, you know, absorb this concept more than others. And I do feel in like the Latin countries like Mexico, South America and Spain, there is that more of that feeling of like, it's out of my control. Let's be now. Let's do, you know, there's many ways to describe it, but it's like flow, isn't it? You know? Sorry, we're going real deep, but
very, very deep, but I love it. This is my favorite part so far, definitely. Because, okay, so do you guys do it as an exercise to go to different places to get different ideas? Or you always go back to the studio and try to get it out there?
Oh, no, yeah. I mean, that's why we've stayed in Mexico. Like, we're going to go down to Oaxaca and, like, you know, visit sites and also try and create music out here, because it's a different frequency, different temperature, different everything.
Different
I mean,
messages.
I'm a believer in astrology and all sorts, you know, like, so there's even astrocartography, which is like, it's like astrology, but it's based on maps. So there are certain lines going across. This may sound crazy, but there are different lines. So, you know, you might be struggling, if you live in London, you might be struggling with a certain area in your chart or in your, okay, I don't feel inspired in London, but you might, in Mexico City, you might have a very strong, you know, Mercury might be running through in a very strong way for you. So there's different energies around the world, and, you know, I feel different when I go to different places, and that may be something to do with something like that.
So in a way, you guys go around the world channeling different energies for the project or for your personal life or for everything.
Yeah. Also, it's to like to support these cultures and to you know show the beauty and depth in the cultures that we go to visit. You know, like I went to Ghana over Christmas last year to experience like what that is to be in Africa, and to how people live, and you know, and to really see that and to incorporate that into my understanding of life, and to bring, you know, music that's richer, more diverse to the people, not just something that comes out of some big city in England. You know?
So we went far off from the main
sorry.
question. No. I love it. But what is champion sound? What's a champion sound?
The champion sound, well, it's actually a little flute line in the song. We always used to joke that the bit that comes in the chorus, that's the champion sound, and that actually came from an old Basque piece of flute music, and we edited it a little bit, but it's
called the champion sound.
Well, we call it the champion sound because we're like, oh, when's the champion? Okay, there it is. It's like this flute part, and yeah, I guess. The main lyric of the song is like, when I find my girl, love will be amazing, champion sound. And then the champion sound, the flute is playing, and it's like, wow, is it happening? Like the champion sound's playing, so maybe, you know, something like that.
And Numbers. Tell me about Numbers. Latest song.
Yeah, there's this guy called Creeds, and he had this like viral hard techno song called Push Up, like in 2023. And like after we finished doing the album, we had all these little bits of songs that we didn't finish or whatever, but we still really liked. And we like made a folder of like little bits of a cappella and little things with the idea of like doing some collaborations. And I loved that song. And a local Spanish DJ had made a mashup of his viral 2023 hit, And I Love London.
How is it?
Yeah, and I saw it on Instagram. I said, bro, can you send me that? And I love this little mashup edit. And it got me thinking, maybe we could do a song with him. So
you hit him up?
Yeah, so I followed him online, and he followed me back, followed us back, and I just wrote him a message and I said, love. And he replied with, Is All I Got, which is one of our songs, Love Is All I Got. And I replied with, collab? So it was like, love is all I got, collab? And he was like, yeah. And then it was like SoundCloud link. And then
Sound what?
a SoundCloud link with like all these little bits of demos and stuff. And he was like, oh, I love this Numbers idea or whatever. That would really work for this style of music. and it's a type of song we never would have made ourselves. You know, it's like a hard techno.
I love it so much, man. It's
Yeah,
so
it's a vibe,
energetic.
isn't it? Yeah.
So what is this about numbers? Is it positive? Is it
Yeah.
tough? Is it
Well,
social
that's it.
media?
Like, I went to there's this charity, I guess it's called Client Earth, or is it called Client Earth or 0% Earth%, and basically charities who are like trying to help the climate situation and the world, basically. And there was a kind of a question time, and this woman got up and she said, "It's not a question, but I just like to make the statement, like, you know, we can do all that we want, like, to try and save the planet, you know, but if we don't do these three things, nothing's going to change. Change your bank to someone who's not a bank that's not going to fund terrorism, fund oil drilling, and, you know, choose your bank well. Second one, change your pension to a pension that isn't giving to all those bad things, you know, and don't buy fast fashion, you know, like, don't, you know, sweatshop fashion, that type of stuff." And I just thought it was interesting. I was like, okay, those are three like quite concrete things. If we don't do those, then we don't really stand a chance of like changing anything. Anyway, this is all a bit political, but it kind of sparked the idea of like, okay, we are considered by the big companies to be numbers, essentially. You know, like, okay, we're just a little tiny 1 or a 0 on a spreadsheet somewhere in many different of these corporate things. But how do we get a sense of ownership and you know, how do we come together and like change things, you know? And that is literally by numbers getting together and doing big positive change or small changes like that, like change your bank, change your thing. And you know, it's a lot to ask, but I guess the meaning of the song is kind of political. It's like, let's like change things a little bit and get together and be not just numbers on a spreadsheet, but many numbers together. That then they go, okay, like, we need to change things. And you see that happening. People vote with their money. That's the whole meaning of the song, is like, you know, it's where you put your money is energy that you've earned, and where do you put that?
Wow.
And putting that into, like, I guess, righteous
So it's
things.
in a way an encouraging way to say, we're numbers, let's come together and make big numbers and change things.
Yeah, basically.
Whoa,
yeah.
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's
And
beautiful.
I guess like political songs, you know, they may be destined not for the top of the charts or anything like that, but I think it's important every now and again
Of
to
course.
to say your piece.
And you know,
kinda
that's what I love about art, because it speaks to you very differently. For me, it spoke about like, this is talking about social media, this is talking about like just numbers, you know, like, and we forget numbers are people, you know. So that's the way it spoke to me.
Yeah.
And I was like trying to understand it. Now I get it completely.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Nice.
So we're getting close to the last part of Café con Mezcal. I mean, in this part, guests try the mezcal on its own. I know you guys are not big on mezcal.
Good.
I can make a cocktail. What do you guys feel, or just keep on water?
I don't mind
café?
sipping some mezcal.
All right.
I might not drink the whole thing, but I can sip on some.
Okay,
Hey.
now you got to try my favorite.
Yeah, of course, that's good.
What about
Yeah, a
you?
little shot of mezcal would be
Yeah,
beautiful.
brother.
Thank you.
You're one for King as well. Can we get one?
What's that?
Can we get one for King?
Of course, brother.
Do you want a beer or something, King? King, do you want a beer? What do you want? Do you want a mezcal? Do you want a
Anything?
cocktail or a beer? Water?
What do you want, brother? Don't be shy.
He's shy. He's shy.
Yeah, get him one
He's shy.
shot. Get him a shot of mezcal.
A shot on the water, maybe, if that's okay. Come in the shot. Come in. Can you come say
Come on,
hi?
brother. Don't be shy.
This is our drummer Calvin. He's the man.
Gracias.
Do you want to come in? Come in for a drink.
Okay, this is mine. I do have a heavy hand today. Maybe because it's Monday. So, maldición gitana. Ever heard of that?
I know what those two words mean, but I don't know what it means together.
So,
yeah.
maldición gitana, gypsy curse.
Yeah.
It means if you start drinking on Monday, you're gonna drink every single day of the week.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and you're going to Oaxaca.
I mean, I quit drinking, but
I know, no.
Special,
Maybe
special.
this is for best.
Okay.
yeah,
I'm
small.
gonna make it smaller.
And that's your
This
favorite
is-
one, yeah?
I travel the world, and there's two things that I always have to have with me. One is my camera, of course.
Yeah.
Second one, I always have a bottle of mezcal with me, or
Really?
even like a flask, so I can share with the people from all over the world.
Really?
I have like a compilation of people from Bhutan, from Nepal, from Thailand.
Drinking
Japan.
this one?
Not, I mean, this one I love it, it's very hard to get this bottle, very complicated. I love it, but maybe all sorts of mezcal. And I have their reaction the first time they try it. And it's so lovely, brother, because this is very special for us.
Yeah.
Like you guys are going to Oaxaca. Maybe 15 years ago, nobody talked about Oaxaca.
Yeah.
Mezcal brought Oaxaca up, bless you. And it's just so many things, you know, like maybe the guy who harvested this is someone's grandpa, and
Yeah.
I mean, who planted this or got it from the mountain, and then the granddaughter is getting it.
You're saying
So
12
it's just
years.
like a family thing.
12 years, you said.
Salud, hermanos. This is not a shot. You should never take
Salud.
mezcal as a shot. Never, ever, ever.
Just a sip, yeah?
Yes, a sip.
Salud.
Treat mezcal the way you want to be treated.
Yeah, no one wants to be shot. Wow.
Ooh.
Layers.
That's delicious.
Bit of marzipan in there.
So when we start drinking mezcal, I start asking the tough questions.
Okay.
So you guys are a little bit more open now, more in the spot. So how do you guys manage to? Okay, first of all, which is the best song? I mean, not the best, maybe the biggest hit you've ever had.
I love Natural Plage.
Yeah.
Love Natural Plage.
Yeah.
So whenever you made that song, you were not thinking about hits or like going big or viral or anything.
Yeah,
You
just-
make your art.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more
How do
like
you guys-
private jokes.
Yeah.
How do you guys manage to not like get drawn to that thing? How do you manage to do what you want and not always doing what
Not trying
people
to-
want?
Yeah, the thing is, you just learn over time. It just goes through waves. Sometimes there are some albums where we were like trying, and it was like the completely wrong thing to do. You know what I mean? You have to do it to know it's not the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But it's a balance, right? Like there's the music I like by myself that I would make if I was just alone. I don't think is for everybody. It's more dark, emotional, just dark. And like that's the beauty of working with other people and being in a band, that you make music that you never would have made yourself. But it's tempting to try and write hits.
Yeah, and it's never an easy like, okay, let's only do what we love and only keep it, because you want more people to hear the message and to be, you know, to help people's
So it's like a middle
mindset.
point.
Yeah, so you don't want to go too down the political, you know what it is, you know, but yeah, it's tough to ride the line. Sometimes you fall, it went a bit too this way, sometimes it went too commercial. Gotta keep it on.
And that's the thing, but like you always have to. This is why there's a lot of recreational musicians, is because like people are vain. Some people who make music, because it's a pretty fun process, and you make it for yourself. You're there making it. It's for you or the people around you. And so sometimes people don't care what other people are going to think. Now, if they're really good, everyone's going to love it. Bob Dylan can do whatever he wants, and people are going to love it. But you know, for other people who aren't as musically talented, maybe they should think a little bit about, oh, what do people want to hear? What do my friends want to hear? Like, what's going to be enjoyable for people? So, like, if you're a genius, just do whatever you want, you know? You don't have to worry about, but we're not geniuses, you know what I mean? So you got to be aware of, like, what's going on in music and who you're, you know?
Yeah.
Do you think there's a song that you guys have written as a this is gonna be a hit, this is gonna be a hit, and it's not a hit?
All the time. Yeah, there's one song, Good Girls.
Yeah.
But it still did quite well. Terrible song.
And has it ever been the other way around? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, the first album we didn't like Plage. We didn't really think. We just kind of, that's just a song on the album, and then ended up being one of the bigger songs. You know, same with At Home. It was like we just kind of an album song, and then it touches people in a certain way.
so much.
And there's different types of like big. There are those songs which are like music industry big, so like they're getting more plays and stuff. But there are other songs that have less plays that mean more to people. So like, you know, like End the Suffering on our latest album, might mean a lot to some people, but not have many plays. Whereas a song like Booming in Your Jeep, which is like promoted by labels and stuff like that, has more plays, but probably doesn't mean as much. You know?
So, getting close to the end, there's something I want to show you. And this is something you don't believe me or you don't remember.
I know what it's going to be your past, no? Yeah.
Coachella.
Oh!
Yes, bro.
I was there, brother. I was there.
So basically, Carlos thinks. Basically, I can't remember Carlos being at Coachella. Apparently, he was there, but it was 2 weekends. That's why it's confusing. You weren't there for both.
I was not.
Not for both.
There's one photo I have to show you, because that
It's
was
you with him.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think because
hugging. No, it was pretty intense.
were you there? You were there the weekend my ex-girlfriend was there.
Brother, you're trying to make it up. It's fine.
No, check this out. Yeah, that's real. That's real.
Hey,
Dude,
good photo.
check it out.
This is me behind all very long hair.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that was me.
The
Oh, with the
Shalapata
pass.
in Coachella. Brother, I played in Coachella. I'm not a musician. This is like the dream went far beyond what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I think what happened was were you there the weekend my ex-girlfriend was there? Did you meet
What's
my
her name?
ex-girlfriend? I don't want to say it on camera, but
I remember something.
because maybe
weird.
if you were there that weekend, you know how the mind blocks out traumatic memories.
The classic trick.
Yeah. So I think maybe you just got dissolved in there.
So was this the first Coachella you guys played?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And did it ever feel like, we have a saying in Spanish, pierdes el piso. Did you guys ever lose ground? Like, we're up on top of the world.
Yeah, you definitely. Music can take you on these ups and downs. You know, it's like definitely a journey. But yeah, to always try and stay.
How do you guys stay
humble.
on ground?
Man of the people.
Well, it's like Duke Ellington used to say, like, oh, people ask you what's your favorite song. It's like, the next one. You know, because the ones that are already out, it's like, okay, it's already done now. I'm trying to work out what's the
Wow.
new thing. So definitely always thinking of the new vibes. Yeah.
Ooh. There's one weird question that I always ask my guests,
Yeah.
especially when they're musicians. Have you guys ever dreamt of making music? Like you're
Yeah.
making music in your
You know
dreams?
what's
No.
interesting? Like the place in Hackney Wick, the studio like that we built. Sometimes I have to stay in the studio on the floors. I've got a friend over or something, so they stay upstairs in my room, in the bed. When I sleep around instruments in that room, the most crazy musical dreams, like. And I don't know, something about the energy of all the instruments around, like just dreaming music. So maybe it's
So it
an
happens
idea
as
to
a-
sleep around musical instruments.
It happens as a coincidence, but have you ever done it as an experience, as an experiment to make new music, or no?
Well, I was hearing about this the other day from someone, and I tried it in the hotel room here in Mexico 2 nights ago. Like Tame Impala, apparently he'll be making music late at night, and then he'll be falling asleep, and then he tries to write the melodies like. He'll wake up and with the loop on, and then he'll just start recording the melodies, because that's when you're closest to your true subconscious state, you know. So I did it the other night. I was literally falling asleep. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to try this. Got the mic, and I haven't listened back to it, but there were definitely melodies coming out. I can't remember any of them, but it's an interesting space. And in meditation, you know, they say one of the ways to explore the subconscious is like when you are about to fall asleep, try not to go fully to sleep, just stay in that
How
state.
do you stay in that
well,
state?
you have to train the mind
Yeah, of
to
course.
stay in that kind of dream beginning state and then explore there. Yeah.
What about you, brother? Any songs, any ideas for music that you have created in your dreams?
Never, unfortunately. Never. I don't think so. I think there was one. It's just so hard to remember them.
Like,
So last questions, my brothers. Last mezcalito drink, because these are tough questions.
Salud.
Not so tough, just very deep. What is it that you guys do when you don't know what to do anymore?
Travel. You know, they say like the world is a book, and those who have not traveled have read only one page. So I like to read some other pages in the book of the world, because so much to see out there and bring back and channel into music. Yeah. So.
What about you, brother?
Yeah, I mean, probably making music. It's like, because it's infinite. There's an infinite amount of time you can spend. So anytime there's nothing to do, you just tap into that infinite source, you know?
Just make sounds.
And the thing is, it's nowadays, it's just hard trying to find those times when you're not sure what to do. Everything's so busy and the world's moving all the time. And it's like finding those moments of calm so that you can create is like, that's the escape.
So in a parallel universe, what would you guys be doing? if you guys were not making music, touring the world, and
I'm very drawn to like planting trees. I've not done it that much. I've planted some trees in my life.
Farmer.
Like a farmer, yeah.
A landowner.
Kind of like maybe like
Forest
in
owner.
Brazil or something, just like reforestation.
Reforestation.
Yeah, that type of thing.
I'd love to be a waiter.
Yeah. I think you'd be a good way.
There's something so theatrical about great service. You know, in a
that's very poetic.
yeah, there's something amazing. It's underappreciated, but the skill, it's a science, it's an art, and it's been passed down through generations. You go to these restaurants, traditional restaurants, Mexico, Spain, where there's people who've been working there for 35 years. You know what I mean? And it's just an amazing bit of theatre, and it's also service to others. You know, it makes other people happy in a way that they'll never be able to understand the professionalism that went into it. But it's an underappreciated thing. So I'd be working at some very lovely restaurant.
That's a very interesting answer. Very, very, very. Because I think it also shapes up your character.
Exactly.
Like, there is
I
so
love
much
waiting.
patience.
Yeah,
There is
I
so
love
much kindness you need to grow out of you, or you go mad. Love it, brother. Okay, in this parallel universe, if you guys wouldn't have done music, what would you guys be doing?
It's
Planting trees. What
You
you'd be
do-
waitering? So I don't understand.
No, yeah. Well, you guys have been like playing music since you were a little kid, so maybe this is a odd question.
I'd be
but
working in the city like I was before. I
Doing
guess.
what?
Finance.
In
What
London?
that's what I was doing before we started the band.
Ooh, and you?
Yeah, maybe I've got a dream to like direct films. I have a few concepts of films that I'm like, I think that would be a really good film.
So you would stay creative,
I think
one way
that'd
or
be
another.
Probably, yeah. Or the trees, planting the trees, yeah. Which is creative in its own way, yeah.
Okay, so this is the last part. In your bio on Spotify, I read that you guys are committed to share that light and joy that in these dark times is so needed. And brother, I agree very much with that. And thank you guys. This is not a question, just thank you guys for the music you guys make.
Thank you.
This is one last thing that I wanted to show you. A very good friend of mine made this for me. She said, gracias por marcar mi vida y ser parte tan importante de mi historia. So she was trying to find a gift for me. This is not for you, sorry. She was trying to find a gift that it would be like a way to say thank you for things that we share together. And she made this.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
wow.
She painted it.
That
Whoa.
is so
And she
cool.
painted it for me because she said that you guys know, like she knows how much you guys have influenced me. And
Amazing, man.
this is so amazing. So
That is beautiful.
No
Well,
question,
For
just-
those who don't know, that's the front
Oh,
cover
yeah, yeah.
of our third album.
Everything is my family.
A version of, like, but it's slightly different. I love the way it's a little bit different to the she's added some different
it's
touches.
so
but
amazing,
beautiful.
brother.
Oh,
Such a beautiful,
wow.
thoughtful gift. So you guys' love is going and spreading all
Yeah,
around the
man.
place.
Amazing, man.
So anything else you guys would want to add before we go? Anything? that
Just
we left outside?
infinite gratitude for like being on this path and like being able to meet people like yourself and just like, you know, yeah, a true light being, bro. Like every time I see you, so blessed to know you and to know Mexico and this place because of the music. So blessed.
Amazing, man.
You, hermano?
He
Anything
couldn't
else
have
we
said
left
it better.
behind?
He couldn't have said it better.
It's a tough one. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. Muchas gracias a todos por los que vieron Café con Mezcal.
Hey.
Con Crystal Fighters. This is a
Yes, sir.
dream. This
Yes,
is
man.
another bigger part of the dream. Very grateful. En Liman Tour, nos vemos a la próxima. Chao.
Ciao.